Hey guys, it's Faith Cawthon-Green coming back to you live again with War in the Spirit. I'm only going to be on here very briefly. God just dropped something in my spirit that I feel like I need to release, and it's something that often is like an axe that grinds me with people in the kingdom. And so I just I'm going to just drop this little line and I'm going to log off. I only want to be on for about 10 minutes or so. So, I want to talk about titles. I think that we often, hey Erica, we often get very attached to titles. We want to be called something. We want to be identified by this title. It's kind of like an identification of power, or I think we associate it with status based on what title you have. And so I have to say this because it's driving me crazy. Especially in the kingdom, everybody wants to be called prophet. Everybody wants to be call me evangelist such and such. Call me prophet such and such. Call me pastor such and such. Call me this, call me that. And so, I started to think about this today on my ride home. And I thought to myself, we get so attached to these titles. But then I was thinking, the people in the Bible didn't have a title before their name. Why do we need titles before our name? And why are we so adamant about the title that we are requiring people to address us in a certain way, so much that we have to correct them if they do not include a title when they address us? And so I started to think about this, and this is what God showed me. The title does not define the man. The man is defined, or woman, is defined by fruit. So if you look at many of the people in the Bible, Jesus didn't have a title before Jesus, right? John didn't have a title before John. You know when the title came? After. Jesus, the Messiah, John, the Baptist, Paul, the Apostle. You didn't hear Elijah addressed as Prophet Elijah. It was Elijah, the prophet. You know why? Because the man precedes the fruit. And so once the man has produced fruit, then the fruit is what shows you what that person's title should be. I'll back it up for you. Matthew 7, 15 through 15 and 16 says, watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but by their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears fruit, but bad trees bear bad fruit. So people will know you by your fruit. You don't need to tell them what your title is. Your fruit will tell them what your title is. If you're producing fruit that says you are a prophet, then people are going to address you as a prophet. If you're producing fruit that says you are a pastor, then people are going to address you as a pastor. If you're producing fruit that says you are an evangelist, then people are going to address you as an evangelist. We got to let go of these titles. We got to let go of this need for someone to address me, because it comes from the improper posture of the necessity of power and status. That is not kingdom. That is not kingdom. God identifies your status based on the fruit that you produce. You do not identify your status. God identifies your status, and people will identify your status based on the fruit that they see you produce. We gotta get away from this. Call me this. I'm such and such. Watch this. Honor me because I am your leader. Okay. I'm okay with that. But does your leadership produce fruit that says you are a leader? Does your leadership produce fruit that says you are a pastor? Does your leadership produce fruit that says you are an apostle? Because I want to honor the fruit, not the man. I want to honor the fruit from your life, not your flesh. You are a man or a woman. I honor the fruit that you produce in your life. That's what I want to do. That's what, and I'll even give you an example. Even Jesus, in Matthew 16, he says to Peter, but what about you? He asked, who do you say I am? And Simon Peter answered, you are Christ, the Son of the living God. Even Jesus was defined by the fruit. Why do we feel like we are above that? Like we are entitled to someone calling us by a title. No, if your fruit produces it, then guess what? The people will address you accordingly. We got to get our posture together. We got to get our posture together, because this is part of the reason why people are shying away from the church. We're all about power and status and platforms. That's right, Coleman, the woman at the well. She said, I perceive that you are a prophet. You know why? Because he produced fruit that told her that he was a prophet. And so watch this. In that moment, his fruit identified him as a prophet. In another moment, his fruit might have identified him as a miracle worker. In another moment, his fruit might have identified him as a healer. In another moment, his fruit identified him as a savior. So your fruit will identify you. You don't need to identify yourself. Allow your fruit to identify who you are. We got to get our posture correct so that people can receive us in a way. Because you know what? When people approach me, just call me Faith. I'm good. I don't need no title in front of my name. Call me Faith. And whatever you see based off of the fruit of my life, then you address it however you address it. It's not that serious. Honor my fruit. Honor my fruit. If my fruit perceives to be a prophet, if you perceive me to be as a prophet based on my fruit, then that's what you call me. If you perceive me to be a worshiper based on my fruit, then that's what you call me. If you perceive me to be an intercessor based on my fruit, then that's what you call me. If you perceive me to be a teacher based on my fruit, then that's what you call me. I don't have to tell anybody, call me evangelist, call me prophet, call me pastor, call me apostle. No, because you know what? If my fruit shows you that that's who I am, then you're automatically going to call me that, because there's a manifestation of fruit based off of how I live my life. It's just like the rest of us. People will call you a believer based off of your fruit. People will call you a minister based off of your fruit. You don't have to be ordained a minister, but if you go to your job and you're ministering to people all the time and they begin to see a change and a shift in their life, guess what? You're a minister. If you're always spreading the gospel and people are coming into the house, guess what? You're an evangelist. Your fruit will identify who you are. God identifies us by our fruit. It is not up to a man to identify who we are, to identify what our title should be. God does that. God does that. Jesus identified the apostles by those who were willing to leave everything to follow him. Fruit. Fruit. Y'all, that's all I got to say. We got to get away from this need to have all these titles, because the need to have the title is really a display of an improper posture. It's a display of a need to have power. It's a display of a need to have status. But that's the world's way. That's not the kingdom's way. That's not the kingdom way. So if you really profess to be kingdom and you really profess to be a kingdom influencer, then allow your fruit to talk for you. And that's all I have to say. I love you guys. I had to just get that out because it bothers me greatly. But I love you. Y'all have a blessed evening. I pray you share the video. Let's see what you say, Kamika. Sunshine just told me that I needed a turtle for people to respect my gifts and talents. Oh, that's funny. Someone told you that you needed a turtle for people to respect your gift. Listen, okay, I don't understand the turtle reference, but your gift produces fruit. You don't need anybody to validate you. A person can't even validate you. A person can't, that you needed a title for people, okay, that you needed a title for people to respect your gifts. No, because God validates you, Kamika. And he will use your gift to make room for you. He will use your gift to make room for you. And that's true for everyone else. You know, we get all caught up in this idea that in order to serve in the kingdom, in order to have any power, influence, leadership positions or whatever, that you have to have like paid your dues. Oh, you need to be in ministry for a certain amount of time, and you need to have gone to school for this, and you need to have done that. No, that's not how God operates. God took some fishermen out of a boat and said, you're going to be the rock on which I build my church. Where was it that he said, you got to go to school? You want to follow me? Okay, let me tell you, you need to go to school for this amount of years. You need to go get a degree. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. No, that's not what it says. Those who he called, he justified. So when you got called, guess what? God justifies you. He validates you. He makes room for you to operate and move in the gift that he gave you. No man gave it to you. No man can take it away. Period. Period. You submit that gift to God. And God identifies it by the fruit that is produced. He identifies you in the places and the spaces that you are to go into by your fruit. Man does not create platforms for people, Kamika. In fact, you don't even need one person to respect your gift or your talent. Because you know what? If God respects it, if God sees it, he'll move all the people that are standing in your way out of the way. He will unseat everyone that comes against you to put you on the very platform that they had, that they thought belonged to them. Don't worry about what men say. That's right. Brush it off your shoulders. Don't even worry about it. Because they don't make room for you. God makes room for you. And if God said he's placing you in a place, he's going to make a way for you to get there. And anyone that stands in the way of God, God is going to clear the path. Period. Period. That's it. If it's your destiny, if he called you to do it, then he's making room for you to do it. Period. That's it. No questions asked. Don't worry about it. Don't lose no sleep over it. Don't get anxious about it. Don't get in your feelings about it. Let God be God, and he's going to make room for you. And that's it. Okay. I'm for real getting off this time. I love you. Kamika, stay encouraged. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not good enough. Don't let anybody tell you that you need certain things in order to do what God has called you to do. You keep moving in obedience and watch God back you up. I love you too. Y'all have an awesome evening. Bless you. Bye.